Hi everyone. This is Mew Moo from Susan's family. Today, I'm going to show you a new design, Desert Camel. For this electronic tutorial, you can search for Susan's family to view it. This toy consists of two parts, the main body and accessories. First, complete the main body, then, make and attach all the accessories. Let's start by learning the crochet method for the main body. The main body includes the head, neck, body, belly, legs, hump, ears, tail, and assembly of these parts. Start by crocheting the head. It is divided into the upper lip, lower lip, and the head. Both the upper and lower lips are started with the foundation chain method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. After completion, join and crochet the head. Stuffing is required during the crocheting process. Before you start, let's take a look at the table. The increases and decreases explanation column indicates the stitch pattern needed for crocheting the current round, along with any increases or decreases in stitches. This explains the stitches used and the increase-decrease situation. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches for the current round. After all stitches have been completed, the stitch techniques used include X single crochet, V single crochet increase, W single crochet 3 in 1, a single crochet decrease, chain, and slip stitch. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Let's start with the upper lip. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I will use cotton yarn for this demonstration. The colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. CH stands for the foundation chain, meaning the starting method is foundation chain. Start with 3 chains. Hold the yarn with the left hand. Hold the hook with the right hand. First, make a slip knot. Pull tight. Then crochet 3 chains. The foundation chain is now complete. Next, we'll work on the first round. R1 means starting from the second to last foundation chain, then follow the pattern X, W, V. DOW2 indicates beginning from the second to last chain of the foundation chain. Count backwards from the side with the hook. 1, 2. This is the second to last stitch. Start by picking up the half loop from the top of the corresponding chain. That means working 1 single crochet into 1 strand of yarn. Then, on the last chain, work a SC3 in 1. In other words, work 3 single crochets into the same stitch. The SC3 in 1 is now complete. Let's take a look. On the other side of the chains, there are 2 strands of yarn left. Pick up these 2 strands and work 1 single crochet increase. That means working 2 single crochets into the same position. Tuck in the yarn tail from the starting chain as you go. The single crochet increase is now complete. This round of corresponding stitch patterns is now finished. You can check the stitch count. The total number of stitches for each round is indicated in the corresponding table. I won't mention this again moving forward. Work 1 slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. Work 1 slip stitch. Note that slip stitches are not indicated in the table. When crocheting in practice, you need to work a slip stitch at the end of each round. This is the chain formed by the slip stitch. The joining slip stitch doesn't count as one stitch. Make sure to tighten it. That completes the first round. You can trim off the excess tail from the starting chain now. Move on to crochet the second round. R2 is 2x V asterisk 2. The parentheses here indicate, one group, indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Start with one chain as the turning chain for single crochet. This turning chain is not marked in the chart. When crocheting in rounds, you need to work a turning chain at the beginning of each round. The turning chain for single crochet doesn't count as one stitch. Begin with 2 single crochets. The number before indicates how many single crochets to work. Work that many single crochets. First, work 1 single crochet into the slip stitch position below. Work 1 more single crochet into the left stitch. Continue with 1 single crochet increase. I'll demonstrate it one more time. Start with 2 single crochets. Then work 1 single crochet increase. This is the second time. The stitch pattern for round 2 is now completed. Finally, end with a slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. Pay attention carefully. At the end of each round, you need to join with a slip stitch to the first stitch, and pull tight. Round 2 is now complete. We will consider the side with clearer texture as the right side. Flip the work so the right side faces outward. Now let's move on to round 3. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. I want to emphasize again, at the start of each round, you must make a beginning chain. I won't repeat this for the following rounds. Refer to the chart and work 4 single crochets. Work 2 single crochet increases. Work 2 single crochets. After completion, end with a slip stitch. Round 3 is now complete. Continue to round 4. Simply work single crochets evenly into each stitch. After completion, end with a slip stitch. Round 4 is now complete. Cut the yarn. Secure with 1 chain. Enlarge the loop. Leave a 15 cm tail and cut the yarn. Tighten. You can take a look now. The texture on the right side of the fabric is clear. The texture on the wrong side is blurry. One raised texture on the right side indicates 1 round. Start from the position of the starting chain space. Count these raised textures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you've crocheted 4 rounds. The upper lip is complete. The technique for the lower lip is similar to the upper lip. Everyone, refer to the pattern to finish it, with the right side facing out. Finally, leave a 5 cm tail, and fasten off the yarn. Everyone, take a look. This is the sample swatch after completing the lower lip. Next, we'll crochet the head. Start with the first round. Take out the lower lip piece. Find the position of the 5th stitch in the last round. Join yarn at this position. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Joining the yarn is now complete. Then crochet 3 single crochets. You can weave in the yarn tails as you go. Any remaining yarn tails can be trimmed off. Next, take out the lower lip piece. Find the position of the 3rd stitch in the last round. Begin from this stitch and correspondingly make 8 single crochets. Skip 2 stitches below and do not crochet them. When you reach the lower lip position, start to skip 3 stitches and do not crochet them. Continue with 2 single crochets. You can weave in the yarn tails here as you go. Then finish with a slip stitch. The first round is now complete. The upper and lower lips are now joined together. Leave the long yarn tails on the outside for now without dealing with them. Any unfinished yarn tails can be tucked inside. Move on to crochet the second round. First, refer to the pattern and make 2 single crochet increases. Then work 4 single crochets. Next, make 1 single crochet decrease. Let's take a look first. The stitch looks like these 2 strands of yarn. The one closer to you is called the front loop. The other one is called the back loop. First, insert your hook into the front loop of the left stitch. Then, insert it into the front loop of the adjacent stitch. There will be 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. You will have 2 loops remaining. Yarn over again, and draw through in once. Single crochet decrease completed. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. This method of only picking up the front loops to crochet a decrease is called an invisible decrease. It's referred to as an invisible decrease. When using this technique for crocheting, the gaps between stitches are relatively small. The fabric turns out more delicate overall. For any single crochet decreases you encounter later, you can crochet them using this method. Continue following the chart to complete this round all the way down. Finally, finish with a slip stitch. The second round is complete. The stitch techniques used in the following rounds have all been demonstrated in detail earlier. The meaning of the increases and decreases explanation is similar to before. You just need to crochet accordingly by following the order of stitches in the table. Don't forget the beginning chain and slip stitches when crocheting. Move on and complete this section by referring to the method you learned earlier and using the table as a reference. While crocheting, you will also need to stuff it. Do this when you reach the last few rounds of crocheting. Refer to the chart and finish this part. You need to stuff during the process. When you reach the last few rounds. Below, I'll demonstrate the stuffing method using a sample swatch. Fluff up the stuffing and then stuff it inside. You can use a crochet hook and scissors to help with this process. The lower lip area does not need stuffing. Add a little stuffing to the upper lip area. The stuffing should be firm and evenly distributed. After achieving a generally full shape, adjust the curve of the fabric. Tidy up the shape of the mouth. Start by adding a small amount of stuffing to the opening section. When crocheting later, you can stuff as you go. This is the method for stuffing. After completing the final round of the head, it's time to fasten off the yarn. Enlarge the loop and leave a 15 cm yarn tail before cutting. You can crochet this last round slightly looser. Thread the yarn into a darning needle. Pick up the front loops of the stitches from the final round and pass through. After threading halfway, pull tight. Pay attention to pulling gently. Continue threading through the remaining front loops. Slightly tighten. Be mindful not to pull too hard. The excess tail can be woven a few more times at an adjacent position. Then insert the needle back into the center of the closing point. Exit the needle at any position. Give a gentle tug to tighten. Press the closing area to lay flat. Weave the excess tail a few more times inside the fabric and hide it well. Trim off the excess tail. The closing is now complete. The head is also finished crocheting. Finally, thread the reserved yarn tail into a needle. Use whip stitch to sew at the skipped stitch position. Make sure no holes are left. Gently tighten. Then tie off and weave in the end. That concludes the explanation for the head. Next, we will learn about the neck. Let's take a look at the finished product. The neck is started with a chain ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. After completion, stuff it. The new stitches used are T half double crochet and F double crochet. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with 24 chains and join with a slip stitch in the first chain. This means to chain 24. Then slip stitch into the first chain. This forms a circle with the chains. Start by leaving a 50 cm yarn tail for sewing. Then start with 24 chains. Slip stitch into the first chain. Pay attention that the foundation chain should not be twisted. You can fold the chain in half. Ensure the braid-like texture side is all facing you. Insert the hook into the front loop of the first chain and pull through. Tighten the yarn. After completing, check again. Make sure the starting chain is not twisted. This will form a flat circle. The starting chain is complete. Now move on to the first round. Start with one chain. Work one single crochet into the slip stitch position below. Then pick up the front loop of the chains. Work single crochets evenly. Finish with a slip stitch. That completes the first round. Turn the right side with clear texture outward. Place the starting yarn tail at the bottom. For rounds 2 to 8, just follow the chart. Don't forget the beginning chain and slip stitches. Now I'll demonstrate round 9. Start with 5 single crochets. Then work 3 half double crochets. After that, complete 10 double crochets. Continue referring to the pattern to finish this round. End with a slip stitch. Round 9 is now complete. For the following rounds, continue crocheting in rounds. Everyone can refer to the pattern chart to finish it. Leave a 50 cm yarn tail for sewing at the end. That concludes the explanation of crocheting the neck part. Next, stuff some stuffing inside the fabric. Keep the curve of the neck smooth. You can slightly stuff the ends. Additional adjustments can be made while sewing later, and that's how you complete the neck. Next, let's learn the crocheting method for the 4 legs. Take a look at the finished product. All of them are crocheted in rounds using the magic ring method. They are divided into front and back legs. Among them, the front and back legs also have left and right distinctions. The left and right here are distinguished based on the doll's own left and right sides. The crocheting method is similar. Add stuffing and shaping wire while crocheting. The crocheting method for the 4 legs is similar. Here, I'll demonstrate the crocheting method, using the front leg as an example. Start by crocheting the front leg. The casting on is a magic ring, which means the casting on method is the adjustable magic ring. Begin with the magic ring. The loop here can be slightly larger. After completing it, work the first round. Crochet 6 single crochets into the magic ring. The first round can be worked slightly looser. After completing it, tighten the ring a bit. Finally, finish with a slip stitch. You can count the stitches from the back to the front. Find the position of the first stitch. The first round is complete. We will consider the side with clearer texture as the right side. Continue with the second round. Start by making a single crochet increase. At the same time, tighten the starting tail together. Crochet 1 single crochet into the left stitch. And 1 half double crochet. Crochet 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Two chains. 1 slip stitch. Tighten it slightly. 2 chains. And 1 double crochet. Crochet 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet into the left stitch. Finally, correspondingly make 2 single crochets increase. Finish with a slip stitch. The second round is complete. Trim off any remaining yarn tails. Now crochet the third round. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. This means to turn the piece over. Turn the work counterclockwise. Begin from the last stitch of the previous round. Correspondingly make a slip stitch. Note that on the wrong side, the stitch is located at the upper left. There's no need to tighten the slip stitch here. If your tension is tight, you can enlarge the loop slightly before crocheting. To make it easier for the following crochet work, after completing the stitch position, at the chain space, work 1 slip stitch. Below, where you made the previous slip stitch. Continue inserting into the chain space, and make a slip stitch. Below, pick up the stitches in each corresponding position and work slip stitches. For the last slip stitch, work it into the first stitch of the previous round. Once completed, you can check the number of slip stitch braids. Finally, pick up the braid from the first slip stitch, and finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The third round is complete. Continue with the fourth round. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn your work counterclockwise. Take a look before you start crocheting. The fabric has 2 rounds of braids. The front round consists of the stitches from the second round. The back round. Is the braid formed by the slip stitch? For this round, you need to pick up the braid from the slip stitches. Crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. The last stitch should be crocheted in the same position as the slip stitch from the previous round. You can check the stitch count if you want. Finish with a slip stitch. That's how you complete the fourth round. A circle of braid texture forms on the surface of the fabric. For the following 5th to 8th rounds, just refer to the form to complete them. After completing the 8th round, you can add the shaping wire and stuffing. Take a small amount of fiberfill first. Fluff it up by rubbing it between your hands. And then stuff it into the bottom and protruding parts of the leg. Don't overstuff it. A moderate amount is enough. Then cut a piece of shaping wire about 55 centimeters long. Fold it neatly in half. And press it flat. Give it a slight twist. Insert the folded part into the bottom of the leg. Push it all the way down to the bottom. That's how you complete adding the shaping wire. For the following rounds, refer to the pattern and add stuffing while crocheting the edging. Try to keep the shaping wire in the centered position. Just follow the chart to finish it. After completing the last round, leave a tail of about 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. That's how you finish one front leg. Crochet the other front leg in the same way. The technique for the back legs is similar to the front legs. Just refer to the table and crochet accordingly. Add the shaping wire and stuffing as well. After completion, fasten off the yarn normally. That concludes the explanation of crocheting the legs. Next, let's learn how to crochet the belly. Let's take a look at the finished product. We will start from foundation chain for the belly. Then crochet in rounds counterclockwise following the starting chain. Let me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with a chain. Refer to the chart for the exact number of starting chains. After completing, start from the second to last stitch. Crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. For the last stitch, work 1 single crochet and then 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Then crochet the corresponding stitches on the other side of the starting chain. Finally, finish with a single crochet increase. End with a slip stitch. The first round is complete. We'll use the side with the clearer texture as the right side. Continue crocheting in rounds for the subsequent rounds. Everyone, refer to the chart and complete it. Finally, leave a 40 cm yarn tail before cutting the yarn. Look, this is the sample of the belly after completion. When counting rounds, start counting from the indentation in the middle. After completing the 4 legs and the belly, crochet around them in rounds to form the bodice sides. After that, crochet the back. Finally, proceed with stuffing. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. Start with crocheting the first round of the side. Take out one of the hind legs first. Use it as the left hind leg. Join the yarn at the slip stitch position in the last round. Then work 13 single crochets. As you crochet, you can gather the yarn tail together. After completing, take out the belly. With the right side facing down, locate the third stitch of the last round. Start crocheting the corresponding number of single crochets from this stitch. Refer to the chart for the exact stitch count. Next, take out one of the front legs. Use it as the left front leg. Begin at the 6th stitch from the end of its last round. Crochet the corresponding number of single crochets. Be mindful to tighten the seam area. You can weave in the yarn tail as you go. Leave the remaining part unworked. Continue on the belly section. Skip 8 stitches. Crochet the corresponding number of single crochets. Then take out the other front leg. Start crocheting single crochets from the 4th stitch of its last round. Leave the remaining part unworked. Continue on the belly section. Skip 8 stitches. Crochet the corresponding single crochets. Then take out the other back leg. Start crocheting single crochets from the 12th stitch. After completing the corresponding number of single crochets, finally, start on the left back leg. Begin crocheting single crochets from the 13th stitch from the end. Finish with a slip stitch. The first round is now complete. Continue crocheting in rounds for the subsequent rounds. Everyone, refer to the pattern to complete it. After completion, fasten off the yarn. Next, crochet the back. Start with one side. Locate the 19th stitch of the last round on the side edge. Join yarn. Chain 1 to begin. Crochet 12 single crochets correspondingly from the joining position. Weave in the yarn tail as you go. The first row is now complete. Continue with the second row. Carry the yarn across first. Enlarge the loop. Pass the yarn ball through the loop. Pull tight. This way, the loop becomes a single strand. Join the yarn on the second stitch of the previous row. Pay attention to keeping the carried yarn close to the fabric. Chain 1 to start. Correspondingly make 10 single crochets. As you crochet, you can include the floating yarn from behind into the stitches. Leave the last stitch unworked. Row 2 is complete. For the following rows 3 to 6, follow the same technique as row 2. First, carry the yarn across. Then join the yarn on the second stitch of the previous row. Then correspondingly work single crochets starting from the joining position. Leave the last stitch unworked at the end. Everyone, refer to the pattern and finish it. After completing the last row, Fasten off the yarn. Everyone, take a look. This is the small sample after one side of the back is completed. For the other side of the back, join the yarn on the 80th stitch of the last round on the side edge. Then crochet using the previous technique. Finally, leave a 15 cm tail and cut off. Everyone, complete it. Take a look. This is the sample after the back is completed. Next, we will proceed with stuffing. Tidy up the shaping wire on the same side. Note that the shaping wire must go all the way to the bottom of the legs. The 4 legs must be aligned and stand steadily. Bend the shaping wire. Wrap the ends together. If there is extra shaping wire here, you can cut it off. Try to wrap it as securely as possible. The stuffing should be evenly and firmly stuffed. Continue stuffing any parts of the legs that are not yet full. After stuffing to an appropriate amount, thread the previously left yarn tail into the sewing needle. Pick up the last row of stitches on the back and sew together with a whip stitch. Make sure that the 2 stitches correspond properly. Pull tight. Sew again to secure in place. After sewing, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Continue stuffing any areas that are not yet firm. Do not fully stuff the gap area for now. Finally, thread the reserved yarn tail from the belly into the sewing needle. Sew the stitches left between the belly and the back leg together with a whip stitch. Start by sewing about 7 stitches. Note that these are 7 stitches corresponding from both sides. Also sew the insertion points on both sides here. Do not leave any holes. Sew back to close. Then sew the 5 stitches corresponding to the back leg together. Sew back again once more. Sew the other side using the same method. Try not to leave any holes in the seam. After completing, tie off and weave in the ends. Then take the yarn from the main piece. Sew the seam between the bottom of the front leg and the belly together. After completing, tie off and weave in the ends. Make sure to weave in the tail inside the fabric. Similarly, tie off and hide the starting tail as well. Sew the other side in the same way. Everyone can now finish this part. That concludes the explanation for the body. Next, we will learn about the hump. Let's take a look at the finished product. The hump is divided into the front hump and the back hump. Both are crocheted in rounds on the body. Stuff as you go while crocheting. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. Start by crocheting the front hump. Begin with the first round. Locate the left side of the back on the body. That is, the side to the left of the slip stitch marks on the body. Find the adjacent stitch of the last round, on the left side of the back. Join the yarn at this position. Then pick up the stitches and crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. This part might be a bit tricky to crochet. You'll need some patience. When you reach the other side of the back, you will have just completed 5 single crochets. Then pick up the stitches along the edge of the back side. Alternate between single crochet increases and single crochets. After completing the single crochet increase in the 5th row, work 1 single crochet into the single crochet stitch on the edge of the last row. That is, the sewing position. On the other side of the back edge, crochet symmetrically to the previous part. After completion, finish with a slip stitch. The first round is complete. Continue crocheting in rounds for the following rounds. You can stuff as you go. When stuffing, pay attention. Make sure to firmly stuff the belly area at the bottom. Finally, leave a 15 cm yarn tail to close the opening. The method is the same as the one used to close the head. Everyone, refer to the pattern and complete it. That concludes the explanation of crocheting the front hump. Move on to crochet the back hump. Start with the first round. Find the insertion point for the last slip stitch on the side of the body. Join the yarn. Then, follow the chart to crochet the corresponding stitches. Begin the single crochet decrease. Don't forget to include the stitch at the joining position. When you reach the back edge, follow the technique used for the front hump. Crochet along the edge using the appropriate stitch. After completing, continue picking up stitches and crocheting accordingly. Finish with a slip stitch. The first round is complete. For the remaining rounds, refer to the pattern and crochet in rounds. Stuff the edges as you go. Finally, leave a 15 cm yarn tail to close the opening. Everyone, go ahead and finish it. Everyone, take a look. This is what the hump looks like after completing the swatch. Next, let's learn how to make the ears. Here's the finished product. There are 2 ears. We will start from foundation chain for both. Crochet back in a counterclockwise direction. Watch as I demonstrate the exact crocheting method. Start with 3 chains. Then work into the second to last stitch. Work 1 single crochet. Crochet 2 half double crochets into the left chain. One double crochet. Then, work 1 single crochet on the other side. Tuck in the yarn tail. Leave a 20 cm tail and cut the yarn. Trim off the excess starting tail. We will use the clearer texture side as the right side. The wrong side will be facing outwards. Crochet the other ear in the same way. That concludes the explanation for the ears. Next, move on to crocheting the tail. Take the yarn used for crocheting the head. Start with 18 chains. Then, from the second to last stitch, correspondingly make slip stitches. No need to pull tight. After completing, leave a 20 cm yarn tail for sewing. That completes the tail. Finally, proceed with the assembly. Sew the ears onto the head first. Locate the 7th circle from the end of the head. Note that this is the closing position. The spot should be centered above the upper lip. You can mark it with a thin needle if needed. Keep the front side of the ear facing forward. Sew the break yarn areas on both sides of the 7th circle. Leave an interval of 6 single crochet stitches between the two ears. Try to sew as close to the middle as possible. Also sew behind the ear to make it stand up. After completing, tie off and weave in the ends. Sew the other ear symmetrically. Next, take out the neck part. Thread the beginning yarn tail into a sewing needle. Place the starting chain below the head. It should correspond to the 4th to 11th circles from the end of the head. The protruding bottom of the neck aligns centrally with the lower lip. Make sure the position is correct. Pick up the chains and sew them together with the corresponding position on the head. You can mark the corresponding position above here first. To prevent sewing crooked, Pay attention to tightening the yarn. Make sure to adjust the position while sewing, to prevent sewing crooked. When you reach the last bit of distance while sewing, add stuffing according to the actual situation. You can use scissors for assistance if needed. After completing, tie off and weave in the ends. Pull the knot into the inside of the fabric. This completes the assembly of the head and neck. Below, thread the yarn tail from the neck into the sewing needle. Match the last round of the neck centered with the middle of the front leg. Make sure the head is centered on top. Tidy up the neck. Below the last round, match it with the stitch position of the last round of the belly. Align it centered above the fifth round of the front hump. You can count the slip stitch marks from the side. Confirm the position. Pick up stitches on the bottom and sew together with the body, securing it. The sewing method is similar to the one used for the head. Pay attention to tightening the yarn. Adjust the position while sewing to prevent sewing crooked. Match the sides of the neck with the indented areas near the front legs. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends. This completes the sewing of the neck. Lastly, thread the tail's yarn end into the sewing needle. Ensure the side with the braid-like texture is facing up, sew the yarn break point at the back of the body. Center the indentation between rounds 8 and 9. Count the rounds here. You can start counting above the sewing position on the bottom. After securing it firmly, tie the two tails together in a knot. Hide the knot's position inside the fabric. This completes the assembly. The explanation of the main part is now finished.